You are listening to Claret and Blue, an Aston Villa podcast brought to you by Birmingham Live.
Hello, welcome back to the Claret and Blue podcast. My name is Dan Rowan and I'm joined this morning by Ashley Priest. Ash, how are you, mate?
All right, yeah, I've seen Matt Kendrick's voice over then. I missed Matt's voice, but yeah, I'm well, mate. Good to see you.
Lots of stuff happening in the last few days or so, last week. We were going to try and do one of these on Monday, but you were off and Pat started late and I finished early. Yesterday we got bogged down in lots of other things, including Derby County going after Conor Harahan, which I suppose is part of our housekeeping section for later. But lots of Villa-related things happening, return to pre-season, a couple of players left, a couple of players on new contracts. So let's talk about pre-season. First of all, I wanted to do this because Aston Villa's return to pre-season day one. It's now day 3 for the players because it's taken us a while to do this. What have you spotted in training so far? I know you've written a piece from some of the stuff that's been going on at Bodymoor.
Yeah, so it's a double session today. So it's a bit of a grueler at Bodymoor at the moment. So they'll have one in the morning, one in the afternoon. That was today. They're testing on Monday. We've seen that. And Diego Carlos, his first week as a Villa player, he's been in the building. Interesting that Villa have got a new player care manager, Phil Roscoe, the signing from Liverpool in May. So he looks after the players now, make sure they settle in. And it's a really important part of integrating new signings, especially foreign players as well. So Phil was the first to greet Diego on Monday, coming out of his cab. And then, Diego's got a translator walking around with him as well on site. And obviously he's going to lean heavily on Douglas Luiz, isn't he? So Douglas will have a big part to play in helping Diego Carlos settle. Yeah, as the pictures in his Sevilla shirt, those have seen them, he's a real size in here, Dan, real unit, big powerhouse, looks like a heavyweight boxer. So I think that physicality, I think Villa have lacked that. So he'll bring that presence as well. So really excited to see him on Saturday against Warsaw. Elsewhere, pre-season, any takes? You got the young lads involved. Josh Feeney, he signed a new deal this week. Villa think highly of him. Ben Crizen, he looks a bit real size now. He looks like he's filled out as well. And obviously those who are watching along, I think, so I've been told as well, I think the left-back search is pretty much over now. I think obviously you've got Luca Dean, Ashley Young signed his new deal this week. And I think Ben Crizen could step up as third choice if needed. So I think Villa are pretty settled on the fullbacks. Interesting to see what happens with Frederick Gilbert, Dan. He can make a first impression on Gerrard. Obviously, he was loaned out last summer, so this would be the first chance Gerrard will see Gilbert. It'd be Cash Gilbert and obviously Kane Kessler-Hayden, who's been around the first team this week as well. Big hopes for him. I'm trying to think now. Obviously, the group splits up, isn't it, Dan? Your McGinns, your Martinez's, your Cashes, Kamaras. They'll all fly out to Australia tomorrow, nice and early. They'll settle in down under. And then the rest of them will play against Warsaw on Saturday. And they'll fly out on Sunday. And the 2-week camp will officially start on Monday.
I think that's interesting. I didn't realise that. I don't know whether that had been noted down anywhere before and I just ignored it. But you'd assume the players that are coming back to training late that had internationals like Cash, McGinn, Martinez, that they would go to Australia after the others because of coming back later, but they're the ones going first, presumably to kind of get settled into the time zone and stuff like that. Yep. Rather if they popped up to Australia next Wednesday or Thursday when you're going, which we'll talk about later, maybe they struggle to settle in. So interesting to know that the guys that aren't at Bodymoor yet will be going to Australia before the rest of the squad, and then they'll all meet up from Monday, I guess it'll be, by the time that long flight's over on Sunday. Right. Yeah, interesting. First game, obviously Warsaw then on Saturday, 1:00. You assume again, much like every pre-season for every club, there'll be split squads in that, either 45 minutes for 2 different 11s, or obviously massive rotation with lots of youth players in there.
Yeah. What
kind of starting 11 do you think is available, knowing off the players that are there and fit and ready?
I had a look at the last year's report. Wendy had a stormer, 2 assists for Watkins. So, I think I noted it down yesterday. I'll try and read it off the cuff. I think Sinisalo, new deal today. I think he'll start in goal. You've got options at right back, Gilbert or Kane Kessler-Hayden. They'll probably have a half each. Centre-back options, you've got Diego Carlos. He'll play Saturday, so a good chance for Villa fans to see him. Tyrone Mings is available. Callum Chambers is available. But obviously disappointing news regarding Courtney Horstan. I think he'll be out for 4 weeks now. Knee operation. He joins Ezri Konsa on the sideline. So Villa a bit short at centre-back at the moment. But those two, Horse and Konsa, should be back in August. So we'll see with that one. Whether Villa go out and get another centre-back, I'm not quite sure. Left-back options for Warsaw, you've got Ashley Young and Ben Chrisen. Midfielders, central midfielders, Marvellous Nakamba, he'll play. Who else will play? Douglas Luiz will play. Oh, me out, Dan. I pinged you this yesterday.
Sanson, of course.
Morgan Sanson, the forgotten man.
Sums up his career, doesn't it, that we can't even remember him when doing a prediction.
Yeah, I'm expecting big things of Sanson. I really hope he cracks it, but I've been saying that for so long now, so we'll see what happens with him, whether Gerrard gives him another go or not. I don't know what fans think of Sanson. We haven't seen much of him, have we, mate? So, but yeah, he'll play Saturday. Elsewhere, Tommy O'Reilly, Little Phil Foden, his nickname. I think he'll feature. Really good, tidy player, him. Bogard, he signed a new deal last week as well. Interesting one, Dan, for me. Finn Azaz, 21-year-old, ripped it up at Newport last season in League Two. I think he's 6'3", might be 6'3". We're technically very good. I know it was League Two last season, but I don't know whether that loan could kick him on, and he could impress Gerrard this week. So I expect him to fly to Australia with the squad as well.
It's a shame he's not a little bit younger. I know 21 isn't old, but like if he was 17 and had a storming season,
of course,
you'd be going, definitely get him in around the squad. But you kind of wonder whether his chance to impress is gone a little bit, in the sense that he's now playing for a move to League One or the Championship, which would be absolutely fine for him and for Villa. But if he was 17, I'd probably be a bit more excited about him. But 21's not exactly old, is it? Let's face it.
It could be an interesting one to watch. Could be a bit of a dark horse. Yeah, and then looking in attack at the weekend, you got Bertrand Traore. Hopefully he stays injury free. Cameron Archer, back home. He's born in Warsaw, so a lot of excitement about Cameron. El Ghazi, he'll play probably the weekend. Danny Ings, Ali Watkins. Yeah, forgot a man again. Danny Ings, Ali Watkins, and Emi Buendia. So there's plenty of options there. So there could be two 11s. They could play two 11s on Saturday. So, 1 o'clock kick-off at the Banksy's. Yeah, you'd expect so. And we'll see. Chance for those to impress, How
much do you read into pre-season? As both a supporter and as a journalist, you want Villa to play well and win and score goals and look attractive, but it's all about building up fitness ready for August 6th, isn't it? I
remember pre-season, our first pre-season covering Villa, 2019. Jota was like Messi. Jota was incredible. I'm thinking, what a signing he is. A couple of million quid from Brentford, Blues, sorry. And he ripped it up in pre-season. Really excited, and I think he got an assist against Everton for Wesley, and that was about it. That's all she wrote for him. So you can't read too much into it, but I think with the young kids coming through, you can have a look at them, close quarters, and how they deal with the pressure of playing for the first team alongside the McGinns and that. So like I said, I'm down under next week. I'm really excited to get amongst the pre-season and to report back to you guys as well, as I did in Minnesota. But it's a good chance to see them as a group and how they gel. You can see formation changes perhaps, and little stuff like that. Who plays the most in pre-season, and little tales from Gerrard. So you can't read too much into it, but you can take bits from it, of course. And I'll be hoping for a strong pre-season. There got some decent games this year, Dan. Obviously Leeds and Man U, the decent tests. Whereas previously it's been your Warsaw, Shrewsbury's, Charlton's, Minnesota's. You can't read too much into them ones. But good level of opposition this year for me. And obviously going to Rennes as well, European one end of the month. A lot of Villa fans heading over there. So that should be decent as well. And they were in the Europa Conference League last season. I think Leicester played them. So decent little schedule they've got. So
it's good actually. It's quite competitive really. I know obviously you got Warsaw there, which is a bit of a classic, the European fixture, and then it's nice to be involved in one of these little tours when you. Is it a tournament? Is it a cup or something?
They're billing it as that's the Queensland Champions Cup for the Brisbane and Leeds game, and then it's the Icon Football Festival for the Man U one.
A chance to win some silverware, which is always good to see in pre-season, isn't it? Decent Leeds and Man U. See how both of those get on. Obviously, two sides are also in a bit of transition themselves. So, good test for Villa rather than playing, like you said, a couple of non-league sides and a League Two outfit or whatever. But it is all about fitness more so than anything really. But we'll want to see Villa score some goals. Of the young lads that are likely to be involved, obviously we could sit here and talk about Buendia playing well or Watkins bagging 10 goals or whatever. But of the young lads that are involved, who are you most excited to get some eyes on?
Kane Kessler-Hayden at right back. Had a really good loan spell at MK Dons last season. Before that, Swindon as well. You remember when Kessler Hayden played against Man City in the FA Cup, and Gerrard was on the phone the following morning saying, "Get back to Bodymoor Heath, I want to have a look at you." And he came back in, had a good look at him over that January, and he went out on loan again. He did really well. So I think Kessler Hayden, my pick for this summer. Seen some of the training pictures yesterday. Ben Crizen looks a real size now. He really does. He's developed quite nicely, as did Ramsey that one summer. Ramsey really filled out. So yeah, they're bubbling along nicely. The young lads, 18, 19 now, coming into a decent age. So yeah, my pick would be Kessler Hayden for me.
Bit of a cop-out answer, but Cameron Archer is the one that's still the most exciting out of those. It's kind of not a make or break in terms of his Villa career, but in where he'll be this season, this pre-season little round of fixtures. If he comes on, plays minutes, scores goals, and impresses, you'd like to think that. I suppose it's all dependent on whether Villa. I mean, this is where the discussion is going to go for the next 10 minutes. So the kind of transfer state of play, we'll call it. It depends whether Villa sign a striker, I guess. If they do, I can't see Archer wanting to have enough minutes as fourth choice behind this new striker, who's also behind Watkins and Ings as it stands already, unless the new striker is a big name that out one of those two. It's so up in the air, isn't it? All this kind of stuff. It is. If we don't sign a striker, I think Archer sticks around and gets minutes from us and probably plays his part and can score goals. If we do sign a striker, you'd expect him. He's got to get a loan, hasn't he, and go and play men's football and score. He did well for Preston, but you want to go and see him score 20 goals somewhere. Yeah,
he's got that in the locker. I think he'll go to Australia next week, and I think it'll be reviewed after that. Another striker. I think Gerrard has raved about Watkins and Ings. He loves them both, and hopefully this season they kick on. Obviously, Watkins has had a specialist finishing coach over the last few weeks. Really wants to nail down his England place for the year ahead. That's a big carrot for him. Likewise, Ings, I think they'll be pushing each other. Okay, it didn't work as best as we all thought it would last season, but there's real hope going into a new season. Full pre-season together. Obviously, Danny Ings is bedded in now. I think they're goal scorers, aren't they? And I think Archer's one of them as well. I'll keep him around for sure. I'd have him for the season here. You're asking me now, I wouldn't loan him out. I think he's too precious in the sense that he's on
another striker.
Yeah, I mean, he can't have enough options up front for me. To change games, to come on to score. I'd keep him around. But I want to fight hard on three fronts this season. I think you need all you can. And yeah, I mean, he's on a hot streak, isn't he? I'd play him. I really would. He's got a good chance to make a statement this season. In terms of strikers, no transfer talk, no gossip involving a striker search at the moment. So Villa's interest is called in that department. So we'll see. I think it's under review at the moment. I think Gerrard's happy with taking the bulk of his squad to Australia, and I think he'll assess it afterwards.
The season starts obviously before the transfer window ends. Does the transfer window end in September this season? Between August 6th and September 1st for Archer to, if he doesn't play a single minute in those first 2, 3, 4 Premier League games, and there'll probably be an EFL Cup game in there as well. Yeah. If Archer doesn't play anything, and then you'd probably say, he's going to get a loan here at some point. So it's a key kind of two months for Archer to see where he fits into Villa's plans, and if he doesn't, there'll be a whole host of clubs that we're looking for someone like Cameron Archer next season, and there's some obvious Villa links with Rangers, Dean Smith's Norwich, Michael Beale's QPR. Yeah, obviously he was at Preston last year. Steve Bruce's West Brom also apparently keeping tabs on him. Yeah, so there'll be no short of options for him if Villa do decide to loan him. Where would be a preferable destination for him for you? If you could, let's say the decision was yes, he's going on loan. If you got to pick where would you go? I
quite like the either the Norwich or the QPR link. Dan, for me, Dean Smith gave him his debut at Crewe. I remember that day, Crewe, a couple of years ago now, and I think that's a decent move for him as well. Norwich or QPR would jump out straight away at me. He can work with people he knows he's worked with before. So yeah, one of them two would be nice fits. And hopefully pushing promotion with them. So yeah, Archer will be open-minded at the moment. I think he'll analyse it, getting his head down at the moment at Bodymoor Heath, and there's no rush, no pressure. There's a couple of months left, and let's see what he can do over pre-season.
What about Rangers? Is that a serious option? SPL instead of Championship?
Possibly.
Different kind of level, but
scope for European football for him as well. Yeah, it's an option, of course it is, but I think he want to stay in England. It'd be a big move for him going to Rangers. That'd be huge. But yeah, options are there, and like you said, there's a long queue for him, as there are with other Villa youngsters as well.
Douglas Luiz, Carney Truckmaker, still their contract things seem to roll on. Sinisalo's now signed one. Feeney, Bogard, like you said, kind of all waiting for Carney to be one of the next ones. Maybe they're waiting for the new kit to kind of announce one of these ones that we're all waiting for. New kit, new contract at the same time. You'd assume new kit will be before Saturday, by the way. I think somebody asked it in the comments earlier. They'll play in that on Saturday, so the kit will be released between now and Saturday, you'd assume. What do you think of I mean, I've asked you a million times about Luiz and Carney. We both think we should keep them because there's they're obviously both talented. There's value in them from a financial point of view if they're on contracts and then are sold at some point. I've seen a few suggestions on Twitter though about Luiz staying for the rest of his contract and then leaving on a free next year to somebody like Roma or AC Milan or whoever. We've kind of seen a bit more of a trend with that. Almost a little bit of player power, really, that a player can run down his contract and then, as Kamara did, come into Villa, get this hefty kind of contract with a signing on fee and all these kind of things because there's no transfer fee involved. Pogba going back to Juventus on a free the same. We're kind of seeing this trend now of players running down their contracts and moving on frees to benefit themselves as individuals rather than seeing clubs cash in for 60, 70 million on their talent instead.
I think that's fair, Dan. Yeah, I think the ball's in the players' court and they're being advised by their representation as well, aren't they? So, yeah, I think Villa are relaxed about Douglas's situation. I've quizzed Gerrard on that a number of times, and he's been quite cool, standoffish about it. He said previously we haven't discussed Douglas's in isolation, so it's as you were. 12 months left on his deal. I think Douglas is happy for that as well, judging by his body reaction. Yeah. His body language this past week, meeting Diego Carlos, he's happy. Villa are quite open-minded with Douglas' situation. I know it's precarious. I know his value would decrease as the months tick by, but I think Gerrard wants to have a real good look at him at close quarters at a number 8 position. Obviously, Kamara and Nakamba are back. They'll slot in that defensive midfield position, and I think he wants to test him and see what he's got. Can he kick on again? I think Douglas was a little bit inconsistent last season for Gerrard, but pre-season is a good chance to take a step back and have a real good look at things. Whereas Gerrard joined in November, games coming thick and fast. He got no time to breathe. So I think the situation with Douglas Luiz is quite relaxed. I think AC Milan's interest is genuine. I think they're having a look at him. I think his agents probably talks with Milan. Nothing from Roma's side. Obviously, they were interested previously. So AC Milan are having a look at Douglas, so what I've been told. So we'll see with that one. Carney, yeah, I think he's on cloud 9 still, given last week's under 19 win. And yeah, I think he himself is quite relaxed over the situation. Villa will be desperate to tie him down to a new deal. They're not interested in committing just yet. So I think talks will commence once he's back after his little break. And yeah, I think Gerrard will be keen to keep him. Seen Gerrard's Instagram last week praising him for his win. And yeah, big talent, mate. So we'll see. But yeah, I think it's in the players. The ball's in the players' court. They're being advised by their agents and reps, and I think both players are relaxed about their situations. I think Villa will be keen to tie Carney down more so than Douglas at the moment.
Yeah, I think as much as I kind of was about to say then, Douglas Luiz is the older player, but he's still only 23, 24. Even tying Luiz down would be a big deal.
Yeah.
As much as you want players to kind of commit to the Villa project, we're Villa fans. We do the podcast about Villa. We write about Villa. It's our job. We support the club. This is number one for us. As much as you want the players to kind of be on board with that and sign up to the Villa project long term as well, they have got to be selfish and look out for themselves and make the best opportunities for them. Stick with Villa for the next year. And if Villa get into Europe, there's no real reason for Douglas Luiz to want to go to Roma or whoever. No. Obviously, there's a draw of going to a European side or whatever, but if being in the Premier League and European football with Villa, they can go, well, yeah, I will sign a new contract in next March or April or whatever if Villa do it. And if they don't, they can go, well, I was right not to sign on to the Villa project because they didn't make it into Europe. They finished 12th. I can now go to AC Milan and look after myself. And as much as that's kind of the harsh reality of player power and them looking out for themselves, that's the way the game is.
Yeah, spot on.
It's all gone a little bit quiet, and I've seen a lot of kind of almost overreaction on social media. I guess of people going, "Oh, where's all the signings? It's been however many days since we did something. Villa are being slow. They're going to miss out on stuff. What's happening? Season starts in 30 days. What the hell?" Kind of almost forgetting that we've signed down Coutinho on a permanent, Kamara, one of the hottest prospects midfielders in Europe, and Carlos as well. The fact that we did all our business so early has almost made people be a little bit impatient or greedy to think, oh, all right, well, we've done 3. Where's the other 5 or 6 that we need?
Yeah.
Still 2 months left of the. Is it 2 months? Yeah, just less than 2 months of the transfer window. So, as much as Gerrard was saying he wants to get everything done by pre-season day 1, it's not always as simple as that. If deals, it's a domino effect, isn't it? If your player can't yet move because that club hasn't done their business, and they haven't done their business because the club they're buying from hasn't done their business. Yeah. It's not as easy just to go, well, pre-season day 1, let's just hope everything's done by then. So I wouldn't rule out Villa that people are going, oh, Villa are done because they haven't done things by Monday the 5th of July. You still expect there'll be a couple, don't you, in a couple of positions if the right deals become available. And just because Villa haven't done anything for 3 weeks or whatever it is now doesn't mean that they're totally finished. And if the right deal comes up, then we'll see movement. If we didn't, would you still be happy with the squad that we've got?
I'd be content, probably. In the last 2 summers, Dan, Villa have signed 5 players in the summer window, 5 and a 5. So we're one off that at the moment, and the window's only been open a couple of weeks. So yeah, I mean, over the last couple of seasons, there hasn't been this level of uproar, has there, on social media? Where's all the players? Where are the players? I know we had that first summer, which was crazy. 12 signed, didn't they, in 2019, and then they slowly built quite well in the previous summers. So I had this conversation on my Q&A yesterday. One of the readers puts he'd be quite happy going into the season now, knowing Villa have strengthened the spine of the team. I think Diego Carlos and Kamara will be big players next season, Champions League players previously as well. So they've improved that aspect of it. But yeah, I think 1 or 2 more. I expect 1 or 2 more to come in, because obviously Villa need to shift out a couple more players, your old guys and whatnot, and obviously young players were heading out on loan. So the squad will need to be replenished that way. So yeah, there's further business to be done, but we're in no rush to do so. It's still early days. The group, as it is now, will go to the Australian tour next week. And then after that, I think Gerrard will have a better idea of where he really needs to strengthen, who's impressed him, who hasn't stepped up when he was looking them to do so. So yeah, he's got 4 games until they're back from the tour. So lots to look at. I know people are saying he's had all year to look at them, but he's only came in November, and I can't stress how much you sucked into that playing weekly. Okay, injuries. You don't really get a good look at them at close quarters in that sense. So yeah, I think Villa's transfer status is currently under review. I think they'll look at that in the next few weeks. So yeah, it's just crazy to think over the last two summer windows they've signed 5 players each, and we've signed 4 in the first couple of weeks here. So yeah, I mean the thirst for transfers is just massive every summer, isn't it? So, but we'll see. But I fully expect 1 or 2 to come in.
We're a better side already now than we were at the back end of last season with the reinforcements that we've already done. So, and that point of view, yes, I'm happy to go into the season because on paper we're better than we were. That's relies on Kamara and Carlos hitting the ground running and starting games from game week 1 and being very good to stay in the side. I don't know what we need, to be honest. Kind of the clamour for more signings. It depends, doesn't it? If Luiz goes this year, you do need another midfielder. If he stays, you've got McGinn, Ramsey, Luiz, Nakamba and Kamara as probably your choices. You still got Sanson if he's still around. He's an option, but probably not. Irabunim's still there. Forward, you got Ings, Watkins, and Archer as a 3. Keenan Davis is still here technically. He's not officially gone anywhere yet. So that's 4 that are on the book. So it does seem silly to say, oh, let's just judge them on 4 games in pre-season. But you are right that it's difficult to judge things when it's game week, recuperation, game week, back and forth. Yeah. It's almost last chance saloon that if Moen Sanson, for example, gets 3 out of the 4 games and gets minutes, and Gerrard thinks, not really impressed here, we can move him on, and I do need another midfielder now. That's how it will work. It would have been nice to have all that sorted by the first day of pre-season, but like I said earlier, it's quite as simple as that. Who is Villa's most important player next season? Now, we will do our kind of pre-season chat like we always do, and we'll meet up and do those, and this will probably be a question that comes July 30th rather than July 6th when we've seen a few games and completed transfer business. If you had to pick one player now to be, if Villa was to have a good season next season, this player has to do well to be a part of that. Who would you identify as being that one most important player? John
McGinn. McGinn should be targeting 10 goals next season. He really should. Over the last 3 seasons, he's only got 3 Premier League goals every season, so he's averaging 3 a season. I think he'll want more. given his form for Scotland, playing a bit higher. Kamara coming in now. Shackles are off him a little bit more. He can get forward and hopefully provide a real threat. So big season for John McGinn for me. I really want to kick on and prove he was once that touted £60 million player that was once linked with Man United when he burst on the scene in 2019 and when Villa back in the Premier League. So yeah, I'm big season for McGinn for me. I want him to hit double figures in goals or get close to it, like Ramsey did last season. So yeah, I'd say McGinn. About yourself, what do you say yourself? Strikers?
Yeah, it's a good shout. I was just checking McGinn's stats in the Championship just to see what he did there. He got 6 goals, 10 assists in the Championship. So to ask him to get 10 goals in the Premier League might be a bit of a stretch, but not impossible. Yeah, my shout has been in the comments already from 2 people, Ian and Craig, with Coutinho.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
But for me, Buendia, because I don't know whether it's going to be one or the other playing or both of them playing together. I think if one of those, again, I don't know what assist numbers are. I don't know whether it was you and me that did one of these. We were talking about Cash and his need to increase his output, and I almost wanted to say something like, "Oh yeah, if he scores 10 goals next season," and I was like, "I better check Trent's stats because he's kind of like the right back. If he didn't even get 10, I can't say Cash should." So I don't know who made the top assists last year, but you want Coutinho to be in double figures for assists, don't you? And reaching for goals, or Buendia if it is one or the other.
Yeah.
They've got to be creating a lot of stuff for Ings or Watkins or Archer, whoever it is up front, or somebody else. And if they are, and things are ticking behind them nicely with Mings and Carlos or Chambers or Conser, and it's nice and solid at the back. Kamara's in there to add a little bit of steel. You got McGinn and Ramsey to be your legs in the engine room. You need that creative little hub to sit right in front of, sit behind those strikers as well. So Buendia or Coutinho for me, if they have a storming season and put things on a plate for ex-striker up front.
Yeah.
Villa going into Europe, mate.
I thought people would say Danny Ings a little bit. Obviously, big money signing last summer. Didn't really play as much as you would have liked. And obviously, his return was pretty decent in terms of goal contributions, goals and assists for the minutes he played. So I think he'll be targeting double figures next season. Watkins as well. I think 14 in his first season, 11 last season. Big few months for him with the Qatar as well. So yeah, I mean, Coutinho's a good shout. A lot of hype when he first arrived, but his numbers were quite good, I thought, for the games he played. I know he was quiet some weeks, but a little bit
more consistency and doing that over the course of the season is what you want from him. But I wasn't saying that he was bad last season. I just want to see more of that. Yeah.
Buendia's a good shout as well. I think he kicked on start of the year. Coutinho come in, lost his way, but I'm expecting him to really explode onto the scene. I really am. I think he's had his bedding in season now, and I'm expecting big things of Buendia.
Going back to what we were saying before about, like, would we be happy if Villa kind of completed their business now and said, right, this is the transfer window shut, and said this is the squad they've got, deal with it. We weren't really that far away. I know we were 14th, but in terms of like, there was a few, everyone will say this, but there was a few kind of flashpoints throughout the season where you think, well, if that result just changed or this kind of result flipped around, we'd be so much higher. I think West Ham beat us twice and Wolves beat us twice.
Watford beat us twice.
If you just switch those two and take 6 points off West Ham and put 6 points onto us, I don't know what the league table finished like in the end. I was about to just go, we'd have finished 8th, but I don't know whether that would be true, but surely we'd be a lot closer than we were. So it feels like we're not a million miles away. So if we can just tidy up those little bits where we were sloppy last year, being more resolute at the back, and also chucking a few more goals, like as much as we're saying Watkins and Ings need to score 30, they don't need to score so many if we start keeping some more clean sheets again.
Last season mistakes kept cropping up as well, didn't they? The leading real goal leading errors kind of thing. Mings a couple of times, and Gerrard was lamenting that in his press conferences afterwards, just gifting the opposition cheap goals, and that needs to stop. And like you say, more clean sheets, you're going to fly up the table, aren't you? So yeah, they weren't a million miles away. I think they finished 9th. Was it in Gerrard's cluster of games? So we're hoping for a good start this season. Fixtures are quite kind, I think, on paper. But yeah, strong start to the season always helps. It'll be a bit of a weird dynamic this year, Dan, won't it, with breaking up for the World Cup. So hopefully we're in a good position prior to that little break, and then kick on into the new year. They'll be back again in January, should they need that as well. So I'm excited by it. I really am. Gerrard's first full season. When he first came in last November, he stressed the importance of a full pre-season and finishing last season on a high. I know it wasn't too much of a high finishing the way they did last season. But yeah, I'm full of optimism, as I always am in pre-season, and hopefully we get on to a good one.
Yeah, we'll call it a day there. I think we've covered pretty much every topic that I wanted to. Just checking my notes. Yeah, did everything off. Nicely done. There was a lot of housekeeping stuff with a lot of new contracts and players leaving and stuff. I can't remember the last time we did a podcast about like a current day. Obviously, we've done a lot of we did the Unsworth thing and the Villa A to Z and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remember the last time we did a podcast about current day Villa. So it's nice to chat about the modern day goings on. Thanks everyone for tuning in. As always, a few people asking about new kit. We play on Saturday, so before then, I assume
next couple of days,
it's going to be Thursday or Friday, or today. So yeah, keep an eye on Birmingham Live for your latest Aston Villa updates on Ash and our Claret and Blue team. Thank you very much for watching this podcast as always, and we'll see you again probably early next week, I suppose, after Warsaw and before you go to Australia. I think that probably makes most sense. I don't think we'll be doing post-match shows and stuff for the match days themselves. I mean, I'm still off on weekends at the moment, so I'm pretty sure that's the case anyway. So yeah, if we're not back Saturday, we'll be doing a chat Monday, so tune in then. Thank you for listening to Claret and Blue, an Aston Villa podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please do let us know. We love hearing your feedback. We'll be back soon with another episode, but until then, up the Villa.